Alright, it's been many days, but this is not the first day that I did work. Basically, on Saturday, I did a lot of organizational stuff. I split graphics made a shader manager, renderer, texture loader, picking buffer, and I think that's it. Then the next day I started on working on the roads so that the units move on the roads. So that was on Sunday. And it kind of exhausted me, so I finished it up yesterday on Monday, and now I'm just recording early Tuesday to report on what I've done. We have a unit. Let's say I want to capture Tunis. As you can see, they go along the road. A little bit frustrating working on the road, but I like getting the unit to move along the road. But I eventually got it working, and here you go. It's captured the city. Went all the way to the city. So yeah, that's all that's got done so far. Hello, again, I took 2 days. I'm summarizing the last 2 days. It's been a little bit harder to record this week, but next week it'll be easier. Also, there'll be another week like this, but anyway, I'm just gonna get into it. Again, I want to say thank you guys for all the comments. It's really nice. I like all the suggestions, even if I'm not gonna cover something in the next week. It's good to think about it. Yeah. So let's go here. So the first thing I did the day before yesterday, I started on expanding the units. So instead of creating units like a group, I guess I should get into the philosophy of this first. By the way, what you just saw is not what it's gonna be. So to begin, I'm trying to take inspiration from many games. So let's start with Hearts of Iron 4, for example. You control divisions, and divisions are made up of, you can put different kinds of units in them, like a motorized, I don't know, like you can put infantry, you could put artillery on the supports. There's many different things you can do, right? And I like that system because it provides depth and realism. However, it's too complicated, I think. I mean, I've had like, I think 300 to 400 hours on Hearts of Iron 4 by now. I'm not like an avid player of it. I've had fun on it, but it's very easy to get bored, and like it also takes a lot of time of the day. So with all that time in, I still don't really change division templates that much, depending on what I'm playing. If I'm playing certain mods, I might not bother as much. Sometimes I go in there. Another thing annoying about it is that it costs military points. I don't like the system. It's too complicated. If you can't learn it within like the first hour of playing the game, I think it's too complicated. So there's that. Then there's the Roblox version / copy of Hearts of Iron 4, Rise of Nations, which a lot of you guys have drawn similarities from my game to it. And yes, it is one of the inspirations, and there is a lot of similarities. In Rise of Nations, it's a lot simpler. You can have an infantry unit, you can have a tank unit, you can have an artillery unit, and they're all very nice, but it lacks depth. I think it lacks a lot of depth. I think also something that needs to be understood is that you're not controlling like individual units. Like there's different levels of strategy games. Like more low level would be like direct on the ground, like you have a tank, you're going into a city or something. Those are like RTS style games. I do enjoy some of those. But at this scale, in the military, this would be more so like you're almost like a brigadier general in terms of the military control. Anyways, point is, at this level of military control, you're not controlling individual units. You're not controlling one group that's like only infantry or only tanks. You're controlling like groups of several different things. For example, in Conflict of Nations, I also really like how the system has you can have like the different kinds of units also. And I think it has more depth because it has different kinds. Like for example, in the vehicle division, you can have tanks, anti-tank. There's many more kinds of units that you can have on the ground. So I also took a lot of inspiration from that. In fact, I like that system the most. The only thing about it, like, I think it has a good blend of the two things, Rise of Nations and Hearts of Iron 4, but it just lacks a tiny bit of depth, because still it has the same problem with Rise of Nations where you're only controlling it as if it's like one unit that's purely tanks. And I mean, technically in the game it's literally one tank, but it's probably meant to be like a group of tanks. So that brings me to my system. I was thinking you can have a core type. You make groups. You can have a core type, an infantry group, a motorized group, and this would determine what packages are available for you. So for example, but I don't have that implemented in right now, but let's pretend I did. Say it's an armored group. Here now, these are your combat packages you can take, which kind of also determine the doctrine kind of. So there's urban assault, direct fire, fire support, shock, recon, and this would like kind of determine what is more emphasized actually. So if you did like fire supports, it might be more artillery and whatnot. And then the support package, I mean, direct fire would be like tanks, urban assault would be something else, for example. It just controls the emphasis, and it would control stats. And then support package, engineers, anti-tank, logistics, recon, air defense. Anyway, none of this is really implemented right now. I was just experimenting with the UI. Now, when I was thinking about this idea, I really liked it at first, but now that I'm actually in the UI here, it still bothers me. I thought maybe instead of this, you could make like presets. For example, if I did armored group, fire supports, and engineers, there would be a list of like your last used ones, and you could simply select your favorited or last used ones and then spawn it. That would help with tediousness of like doing it each time, because I would not want to do this each time at all. But I still think it's too complicated even if I simplified it with that, so I still have a lot to do with that. And then I actually have to implement those into variables that actually make a difference. So there's that. I still have a lot of work to do on that. It's probably going to be totally different, but you guys let me know what you think of it. So now we have the other things I implemented, which are much more interesting. You can select multiple cities by holding shift and dragging. 38 cities selected. Let's just do some random thing because it doesn't really matter. Could create units. It's also how it works in Rise of Nations. And then you can also multi-select units. Then I started trying to make sort of a line system. Like if you wanted to make a front line, for example. What the hell? If you want to make a front line, you can do this. I also did not get rid of the box select, which is a bit annoying. And then you can have the units go there. That is, I'm going to make it so that if their destination is like near enough to a road, they'll just go to a road. Also, even if their end point is not going to be on a road, they should follow the road to the closest point on the road to that point and then go off-road. Anyway, so there you have that. You can invade Poland now. I did not actually implement what I'm probably going to do next with regards to this is you can create like an invasion like line, like the point where they should like push towards, and what it will do is it will select targets automatically from here to there and go automatically taking targets all the way to the end. That's what I intend for that. This is the final update of the week. This is what I got done on Thursday. Front line. For example, say I'm doing like a front line here. Yeah, they'll follow the roads. Even if their point is in the terrain, they won't just go directly. They'll follow the road to there first and then go into the terrain. That wasn't too hard to implement. There's still some issues with this though. Sometimes they pick the same point to be at. For example, these two decided to be at the city. But yeah, that was this week's work. Try to have more interesting stuff that you guys can actually see as like actual improvements. Now that my stuff is a little bit more organized, I still have a little bit more organization to do, but I can still get things done which is what is important. Get things done that you guys can actually see. Anyway, that's all. See you guys in the next week's devlog. Goodbye.